Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Terence Hall adjusted his baseball cap in the rearview mirror. The man staring back wasn't the CEO of a multi-million-dollar retail empire. Today, he was just another face in the crowd, hoodie, jeans, and a weathered canvas bag slung over his shoulder. No boardrooms, no profit margins. Today, he was stepping into his own world, unannounced, to see it through the eyes of a stranger. Terence had built his company on one belief: every customer matters. But whispers of poor service, bias, and indifference had reached his ears. If there was truth to these claims, he needed to know, not as the CEO, but as someone living it. The retail store outside Dallas, Texas, wasn't the flagship location, but it held a special place in Terrence's heart. It was the first store he'd opened outside his home state, a gamble that had paid off. He'd visited countless times in its early days, but now, years later, he wondered, had the warmth and inclusivity he'd envisioned stayed intact? As he stepped inside, the cool blast of air conditioning greeted him. The store buzzed with activity, shoppers pushing carts, children laughing near the toy aisle, employees stocking shelves. To the untrained eye, everything seemed fine, but Terence wasn't here to glance over the surface. He was here to dig deeper. Terence wandered to the electronics section, where a young employee leaned against the counter, scrolling on his phone. Terence picked up a pair of headphones, waiting for the employee to engage, but the young man barely glanced up. Feeling a knot form in his stomach, Terence approached the counter. "Can you tell me about these speakers? Are they good for outdoor use?" The employee shrugged. "I don't know. Probably." Terence pressed further. "Could you check? I want to be sure before I buy them." The employee sighed, flipped the box over, and mumbled, "It says they're weatherproof." Then handing it back, he added, "Or just pick something else. Doesn't matter to me." The dismissiveness stung. This wasn't just bad service. It was something deeper, something uglier. And it wasn't just about him. How many others had left this store feeling the same sting of indifference? As Terence explored further, he overheard two employees in the home goods section. "That guy over there," one said, jerking his head subtly in Terence's direction, "is probably just here to browse. People like him never buy anything big." The other chuckled. "Yeah, he doesn't look like he's got the cash for this stuff. Probably just wasting time." The casual nature of their conversation hit Terence like a gut punch. They didn't know who he was. To them, he was just another black man in a store they assumed he couldn't afford. This wasn't just one bad employee. It was a culture that allowed these attitudes to fester. Not all was lost. In the clothing section, a young Latina employee greeted Terence warmly. "Let me know if you need help with anything," she said, her smile genuine. Nearby, Denise, a middle-aged cashier, rang up customers with kindness and professionalism. Her sincerity was a reminder of what the company should stand for, but it also highlighted the inconsistency. Why were some employees so welcoming, while others were so blatantly biased? Terence sat in his car, the afternoon heat pressing against the windows. He gripped the steering wheel, staring at the store that bore his company's logo. This business, his pride and joy, was supposed to represent opportunity, fairness, and respect. Yet what he'd experienced painted a different picture, one he couldn't ignore. He walked back in, this time as the CEO. After gathering the staff, he stood before them, no longer just another customer, but their leader. "What I saw today was troubling," he began. "Some of you showed kindness and professionalism, the kind of attitude this company was built on. But others failed to meet even the most basic standard of respect. And that failure isn't just on you, it's on me." He announced immediate changes: mandatory bias and customer service training, unannounced store visits, and an anonymous system for employees to voice concerns. "I started this company because I wanted to create something better, a place where everyone, no matter who they are, feels valued. Somewhere along the way, we lost a little of that, but I'm not giving up on it." As Terence drove away, he felt a mix of exhaustion and hope. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but it was necessary. He'd been given a wake-up call, and now it was up to him to act on it. This story isn't just about a CEO and his employees. It's about the power of accountability, the importance of confronting uncomfortable truths, and the courage to change. If this story resonated with you, remember, the smallest actions can create the biggest impacts. Treat people with respect, speak up when you see injustice, and never stop striving for a better, fairer world. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that inspire change.